First, we got some good news before we get to the horrific and awful and monstrous news as well. So, Montana governor signs a bill banning transgender surgery for children, following in the footsteps of Florida, Tennessee, I think, as well. There's a few other states that are actually doing some good stuff, actually protecting the kids, for as much as I think that it's high comedy when you have trans athletes just going in there and beating the brakes off of those chicks because, hey guys, you wanted all this stuff. Oh, and now you're facing the consequences for it. Oh, well, sucks to suck, I guess. But when it comes to indoctrinating kids and butchering and mutilating them, that's something that cannot be reversed, for as much as the advocates and the activists want to tell you that you totally can. Yeah, that doesn't work. So big ups to Montana. And then on the other side of that, you have Washington. Washington State, Washington, D.C., they're just as crazy. But the state of Washington, okay, Washington bill to hide children seeking gender transition abortions from parents' stoke alarms. Yeah, this is about as monstrous as it possibly gets. The idea that parents who don't support their child's gender transition need to be pushed aside is gaining steam in Democrat-led legislatures, starting with Washington. If you take a look at the voting demographics in Washington state, it's pretty much Seattle, Tacoma, and Olympia. That's about it. You got a couple of blue cities, but the rest of the state, especially eastern Washington, very, very red. And that's why they kind of want to break off and do the whole Greater Idaho project, which that video, I've done one way in the past, and I have an update that's either right now in the can, not like the rest of the stuff we're going to be talking about here, but it's ready, willing, and able to go. It's just, yeah, that project's really gaining steam, and then especially if you start doing stuff like this, holy. The bill is on the desk of Governor Jay Inslee. Yuck, a Democrat. Yep, the same guy who did absolutely nothing while Seattle was burning down during the Summer of Love. You remember the Chaz, the Chop, the commie hellhole that was home to some of the most ridiculous gardening practices and some of the most violent situations in the entire country in 2021. It was just kids being kids because they were violent radical leftists that took over a police precinct. But no, January 6th, far more dangerous, right? And Jay Inslee refused because Orange Man's really bad to call in the National Guard. Hilarious, until, shots started to ring out, and then all of a sudden, oh, we got a problem down there. You don't say, Jay. State Senator Marco Lias, a Democrat who sponsored the bill, said Wednesday that the measure has been the subject of widespread misinformation. Oh, like what? He insisted that it's simply about protecting youth in crisis. Yes, and giving them things like gender-affirming care, butchering youths, butchering preteens, giving them hormone blockers so that they won't go through puberty, so that they don't grow up with stronger bones, more developed tendons. Just so that they are, and the entire purpose of puberty blocking is to make sure that your gender transition takes and you look more presentable. It's the sexualization of children in its gestative state, and it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But no, it's about protecting youth in crisis. Yeah, a mental health crisis that you don't want to properly attack. But no. Oh, you're feeling sad? Have you tried thinking about living life without tits? Have you thought about chopping off your dick? Just wondering, okay? Because you sound like you're in crisis and we have a solution. But yes, youth in crisis and making sure that they have access to safe, stable shelter. It's not at all what it is. It's not at all what there is, because there's halfway houses, there's runaways all the time, and if it was all about making sure that kids are safe, you would pass the bill. You would pass that bill. But you didn't, you fucking liar. He said shelter personnel would be required to notify the Department of Children, Youth, and Families in lieu of parents. Yep, so literally, the moment, because the entire underlying premise of this is the moment a kid gets indoctrinated by the public school system to say that, oh, actually, I'm a trans kid, and then his parents go, you fucking what? And oh my God, I can't take this anymore. Runs away, goes to one of those shelters, and then you become property of the state. That's what that says right there. But no, it's different. It's just about protecting kids, i.e. removing them, breaking up the family. Fantastic. As far as Republicans are concerned, the legislation would enable the state to make children effectively disappear, as Senate Minority Leader John Braun put it. Oh, Minority Leader. I think I said that, but clarification. What this is doing is legalizing the illegal harboring of a youth, I guess. State Representative Travis Couture, a Republican, told the Washington Times. Some people have said it is akin to state-sponsored kidnapping. Some people are telling me it's state-sponsored kidnapping. Yeah, that's great. And it's apparently a message that has also resonated in Minnesota as well. And the same thing goes over there for trans refugees and shield abortions. Yes, exactly. So if a kid just decides that, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna go and get a state-sponsored abortion because I'm fucking around underage. Because get this, okay, the same people who say that, oh, you need to talk about all of those sexual activities because therefore kids will end up getting knocked up. So because they aren't learning stuff from the state, from the government, from the public school system, you're gonna take them away from their family because you guys know what's better for them. That's interesting. That's interesting. You couldn't properly educate them to begin with, but now you can do it after you remove them from the home. Huh. That's a big think right there. Washington and Minnesota won't cooperate with attempts to prosecute out-of-state patients seeking reproductive or gender-affirming procedures and treatments under new laws signed Thursday by two state Democratic governors. Yes, Walz in Minnesota and Inslee in Washington. So yeah, they're the latest liberal states to enact legal safeguards as Republican legislatures across the country are, I don't know, trying to keep families together, even though there's an active campaign in order to, break them up even further by taking kids away. And Minnesota's like, all right, bet. And Washington's, I got your back, buddy. More than a dozen states have effectively banned abortion outright. No, that effectively disclaimer's doing a lot of heavy lifting. A lot of them have weak limitations and then also have carve-outs for the exact same things that they always bring up. What about rape or incest? It's in every fucking bill that's out there, you idiots. And that amounts for whenever you can actually pin down a state that catches the reason as to why the abortions happen, it's not a percentage point for biggest reasons that those brainlets on the other side want to have easy access to abortion. They basically want punch cards from Planned Parenthoods. Freedom of choice is a healthcare issue. No, it's not. It's about killing kids, either through abortion or making their the rest of their life basically down to the flip of a coin. 42%, man. 42. That's all I need to say, and you already know what I mean. We are protecting access to healthcare, said Jay Inslee. Yuck. He wore a pink tie. Well, hopefully it's just the next time you see that pink tie, it's wrapped around a rafter. But let's get at least a little bit more balanced of a take. Washington bill to allow medical transgender interventions on minors without parental consent. And there's somebody who apparently doesn't exist, according to some disgusting. Oh, and you can also add, I don't have an article pulled up, but the exact same stuff is happening in Nebraska as well, where they're going to have access to abortions all the time because a bunch of stinky white women want it. And listen, you can go ahead and run back some of those clips that are down there, but I, for one, would like to keep my food down, so I won't be playing them. Washington state bill that would strip parents' rights to intervene on their kids' medical care is certain circumstances passed the House Wednesday, clearing a pathway to be signed by Governor Jay Inslee. Already been signed. An act relating to supporting youth. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that it's named like that. Or Senate Bill 5599 allows host homes for runaway youth to house youth without parental permission. Yep, breaking up families. Government-sponsored breaking up of families. Furthermore, the host homes don't need to notify the parents about where their kids are or they're getting medical interventions if there is a compelling reason not to, which includes youth seeking protective health services. And what are protected health services? Abortions and gender mutilation. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what we're going with now, because I'm not using the affirming care, because there's nothing affirming about this. It's mutilation. It's absolute mutilation. Gender butchering treatment can be described to two-spirit, transgender, non-binary, and mental health victims over a gender-diverse individuals. Fantastic. Fantastic. For minors, butchering typically includes puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries. Yeah, no, exactly. There you go. Is unclear which services would be approved under the bill. Abortion and the exact same stuff that you're outlining right there. Instead of contacting parents, shelters can contact the Washington Department of Children, Youth, and Families instead. And then just go ahead and extrapolate that out to Minnesota for that commie hellhole. Remember, that was the one state that voted for Mondale in '84. Yuck. Another compelling reason not to notify parents about kids staying at a host home was circumstances that indicate notifying the parent or legal guardian will subject the minor to abuse or neglect, or holding them responsible and saying, no, you're not chopping off anything. No, make that decision if you're an adult or not under my house. No, that's abuse though. It's very interesting how we've just, moved the definition from abuse to feeding people uppercuts to all of a sudden, enforcing boundaries. It's so weird. The bill was criticized by opponents for being child abuse. Well, I would just go ahead and agree with that. The opposition said, according to the bill's text, the parent's job is to protect their child. This bill strips parents of that ability. Gender is in your imagination. Yes, it is, because it was created by an absolute butcher from Winnipeg who ended up, his experiments and his theories ended up to the dual suicides of a pair of identical twins. More on Dr. John Mooney. I've done a video and it was pinned on my channel, and that was from about 2 years ago at this point in time. So go ahead and peek that insanity if you're interested. Dr. John Money, Munny. There you go. After it passed the House, a Democratic state representative, Tana Shawn, who supported the bill, said, I am saying tonight to them that I see you. That I affirm you. That I hear. That I love you. I. Just another entitled bitch thinking that she's doing a good thing. Meanwhile, she'll purport to be she's a representative of the people, but she'll go home to her gated community where none of the dirty people will be able to touch her. Oh, they're just so out of touch and they're so evil, and it's just another good reason. Hey, if you live in one of these liberal shitholes, get the fuck out of there. The West is no longer, because this isn't just going to stay there. Okay, you can go ahead and cast your minds into the future, because the way that the Republican Party, at least up at the top, moves, whatever positions Republicans or Democrats hold right now, just wait another 10 years and then the Republicans will just adopt them, and then they'll just go, aha, in 2033? Yeah, we'll just be hearing, no, actually the Democrats are the real transphobes. Oh my God. But no, hold the line on this one. Hold the line, or if you have the means, get out of the West. Get out of the West. It's lost. It's done. It's dusted. I'm not a defeatist. I'm a realist, and that's what we're experiencing, and that's what we're living through in real time. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.